Atma Namaste, welcome to the session. We are studying the book Creative Transformation by Master Chokoksui, one of the Golden Lotus Sutras. और अभी हम हैं पेज 25, पेज 25 पे. So one thing is that I had talked about a video of Master Choa. वो मेरे को मिल गया है. मैं होपफुली बाय टुमारो आई विल प्रोवाइड अ लिंक सो यू कैन आल्सो गो थ्रू इट. दिस इज एन यूजफुल वीडियो which where master is being interviewed about prayer and the science of prayer and so on. So I hope you will find it very useful. आपको ध्यान हो तो we were talking about a related topic and that is where I had mentioned the video to you. तो मैं आपको कल भेजता हूँ, मतलब कल तक मैं भेज दूंगा, हो सका तो रात में, नहीं तो कल भेज दूंगा. All right, so we had done the first three sutras, page 25. Let's move forward. Sutra number 4. The teacher is like a finger pointing at many things. For a student to learn, he meaning the student, has to look at what the finger is pointing at and not the finger. Now, this is one of the important things that Master has taught us. क्या होता है, कई बार हम चीजों को बहुत लिटरली ले लेते हैं, शब्दों को पकड़ के बैठ जाते हैं. Now, what Master tells us is words are like fingers. They are being used to point to something. What it is being used to point to is important. What is being used, मतलब जो पॉइंटर है जिससे हम पॉइंट कर रहे हैं उंगली से, वो इतना, या कोई शब्द से, वो इतना महत्वपूर्ण नहीं है. देखिए, इसको कुछ ऐसा समझिए. आपने देखा होगा ना कि कई बार हम कहना कुछ चाहते हैं, हमारे मन में, हमारी भावनाओं में, हमारी इच्छा में तो कुछ और है, बट व्हेन वी पुट इट इनटू वर्ड्स एंड द अदर पर्सन ट्राइज टू अंडरस्टैंड, वो कुछ और ही समझ बैठता है. Sometimes it causes problems in relationships, etc. I hope you have lived enough life to have experienced this sometime or the other. And or maybe someone else said something to you, आपने उसको बुरा मान लिया, वो दूसरा जना कहता है नहीं, मेरा तो ऐसा कोई इरादा ही नहीं था. This is what I had actually meant. है ना? So it is something like this, that words have limitations. शब्द जो होते हैं वो एक विचार को, एक भावना को 100% सही तरीके से एक्सप्रेस करने में नाकाम है. दैट इज फर्स्ट प्रॉब्लम. सेकंड प्रॉब्लम इज what one word means to me can be different from the same word what it means to you. क्योंकि हमारे कुछ लाइफ एक्सपीरियंसेस रहे हैं जिनके तहत हमने, या जिनसे हमने उस शब्द को जोड़ रखा है. Correct? जैसे for example, somebody says in pranic healing we manipulate prana. Now, the person saying it may be saying manipulate in a very scientific way, कि हम उसको कुछ बदलाव लाते हैं. Person listening may see manipulate in a very negative way. है ना? कई बार हम ये शब्द जो है manipulate, इसको बड़े नेगेटिव तरीके में यूज करते हैं. So other person may take it in a negative way. So similarly, गुरु जो हैं, उनके जो विचार थे, उनको जब वो शब्द में डालते हैं तो ऑलरेडी देयर इज सम डिस्टॉर्शन, बिकॉज वर्ड्स कैन नॉट बी परफेक्टली सूटेड टू द थॉट. हम उसको सुनते हैं, थोड़ा और डिस्टॉर्शन होता है. उसको हम समझते हैं, हमारे अपनी विचार, हमारे अपने संस्कार, हमारे पुराने एक्सपीरियंसेस, वो उसके बीच में आ जाते हैं. इवन मोर डिस्टॉर्शन हैपेंस. प्लस we have some understanding, limitation of understanding. हमारी इतनी समझ इतनी विकसित नहीं है जितनी गुरु जी की है. समझ पा रहे हैं आप? वो जिस नजरिए से बोल रहे हैं, हम जिस नजरिए से सुन रहे हैं, उसमें फर्क हो सकता है. So what is required is for us to develop accurate perception. And specifically जब हम एक गुरु जी की टीचिंग को देखते हैं, उसके ऊपर हमें मनन, या इंग्लिश में बोले तो कंटेम्पलेशन. You need to think it over. Why is Guruji saying this? What does he mean by this? How does it fit into his other teachings? How does it fit into the generally accepted good नॉलेज या गुड प्रिंसिपल्स, है ना, वो सब आपको सोचना है. दैट इज आवर एफर्ट, एंड आई एम टेलिंग यू दैट एफर्ट इज वर्थवाइल. करके देखिए आप. ओके, लेट्स मूव ऑन. Let's read the next two sutras together. Disciples are internally governed by different laws. As they go higher and higher, they go beyond traditions and customs. They see that different conditions require different rules. Spirituality is beyond tradition and beyond religion. Next sutra bhi padh lete hain. Some disciples are imprisoned by their culture. Examine your perceptions. Always remember, the limitation of the students or disciples is not the limitation of the teacher or the higher beings. तो इसमें कई सारे विचार आए हैं, उनको एक एक करके अपन अनपैक करते हैं और समझने की कोशिश करते हैं. नाउ व्हेन मास्टर सेज डिफरेंट लॉज, बाय लॉज हियर ही डजंट मीन कानून, बट यू नो इन अ जनरल सेंस कायदे कानून जैसे हम बोलते हैं ना, या यू कैन से प्रिंसिपल्स, गाइडलाइंस, ऑब्जर्वेंसेस, यू नो कॉमनली बिलीव्ड थिंग्स, उनकी उनसे वो बात कर रहे हैं. तो नॉट ओनली लीगल बट सोशल प्रिंसिपल्स, सोशल गाइडलाइंस, है ना, सोशल तौर तरीके, कल्चरल, रिलीजियस, इवन इंटरपर्सनल, बिजनेस के, बिकॉज यू कैन हैव बिजनेस लॉज और लॉज ऑफ द बिजनेस वर्ल्ड. एंड देन देर इज द इनर वर्ल्ड वर्सेस द आउटर वर्ल्ड. सो देर आर लॉज ऑफ द आउटर वर्ल्ड एंड देर आर लॉज ऑफ द इनर वर्ल्ड. सो वो सब की वो मिला जुला के बात कर रहे हैं. Now, when he says different law, disciples are governed by different laws, what he is telling us is कि साधारण जो व्यक्ति हैं, ordinary people, they are bound or enslaved or like he says imprisoned by social, religious, cultural norms and rituals. क्योंकि वो उनको क्वेश्चन नहीं करते, वो उनको समझने की कोशिश नहीं करते. They just blindly follow them. स्पिरिचुअल डिसाइपल्स जो हम सब हैं, जो हम सब चेले हैं किसी गुरु के, फॉर अस द रिक्वायरमेंट इज दैट वी शुड क्वेश्चन, चैलेंज, अंडरस्टैंड एंड अप्रोच इट इन द राइट वे. I'll give you an example which is coming to my mind. You know, once there was this lady, she was brought for healing, pranic healing, by her family. So when she came, मेरा जो center है, this is, you know, where I'm sitting right now, this is in a basement. तो वो जब सीढ़ी से नीचे उतर के आई तो she was in so much difficulty, although she was not very old, but उनको इतनी ज्यादा तकलीफ थी कि एक तरफ से बेटे ने और एक तरफ से हस्बैंड ने वो पकड़ के उनको नीचे उतारा. देन शी केम, उनसे बातचीत की, उनको हीलिंग किया, 1-1.5 घंटा लगाया. देन वी आस्क्ड हर टू वॉक अराउंड. शी कुड कंफर्टेबली वॉक अराउंड. सो मच सो जब जाने का टाइम आया तो यू नो सन एज अ मैटर ऑफ हैबिट सेड कि मैं आपका हाथ पकड़ लूं, तो उन्होंने उसका हाथ झड़क दिया. शी सेड आई डोंट नीड, आई कैन गो ऑन माय ओन, when it was a question of climbing up. Now, when this lady was going, we told her, we actually, super healing had been done to her. You know super healing. I hope you know what super healing is. Advanced pranic healing में जो super healing है. So her energy condition had changed dramatically. So हमने उसको ये समझाया, this was evening time, you know, like now, and we told her that, madam, आप for 24 hours try not to have a bath. Because you have been given a lot of energy, the body will keep absorbing it. Don't take a bath until at least 24 hours. Better tomorrow you don't take bath and day after tomorrow you take bath. So she said, no, 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 how is that possible? मेरा तो नियम है, मैं तो सुबह उठ के पूजा करती हूँ, पूजा बगैर मैं खाती नहीं हूँ, और पूजा मैं नहाए बगैर कर नहीं सकती हूँ, तो मेरे लिए तो नहाना बहुत जरूरी. So our senior pranic healer, जो my mentor, wing commander Reddy, he told her that Maji, आपको मैंने आज तो healing कर दिया, don't come back for healing, because if you will not follow these instructions, it is pointless. Very soon you will be in ICU. And in ICU, who will care about whether you have had bath, whether you have done puja or not? They will just put a drip and feed you. Then what will happen? So she understood. So why I'm telling you this is that sometimes we become enslaved by tradition, by cultural norms, by, you know, ये सारे जो तौर तरीके हैं, इनसे हम इनको हम, because we don't think about them, we don't question them, we just become blind about following, है ना? And related to this, master has said, he says different conditions, different rules and so on. Truth is dynamic. Have you heard this? ये master ने बोला है कई बार, truth is dynamic. So in different conditions, different times, what is truth is different in the same situation. And when master says examine your perceptions, he's saying practice awareness and constantly evaluate, validate your beliefs, your perceptions, these cultural norms जिनको हम पालन करते हैं. You see, before you come into spirituality, you just do what others are doing, like how your family has always done, how your, maybe your parental place, maybe if you are a lady, your husband's family, उन्होंने जैसे किया आप वैसे ही follow करते हैं. But now on the spiritual path, you need to re-examine your perceptions, your beliefs, your traditions, your way of doing things. That is what master is telling us. Yeah. Okay. आगे चलें. To receive maximum benefit, your head must always be lower than the teacher. So that's why the teacher, when teacher was in physical body, he would stand on a stage when he was, teaching, so that everyone else is sitting down. So more or less our heads used to be at the level of his feet. Now supposing now of course he is not in body, if you use a picture अपने घर में या आपने अपने meditation place में, healing place में master की फोटो लगा रखी है, किसी भी गुरु की फोटो लगा रखी है, in your normal posture, sitting down, standing up, वहां पे आपके लिए जो भी normal है, his feet should be at the level of your head. Broad guideline. ठीक है जी? Okay, let's move on. There is a minimum standard. Disciples are supposed to possess self-control and refinement and to be cultured. We have a certain limit. Disciples are expected to behave in a certain manner. Now, this is especially for arhatic practitioners. For us, ordinary, unthinking, boorish behavior is not permitted, or at least it's not good. So we need to, because we are supposed to set an example to ordinary people. तो हमें थोड़ा अपने व्यवहार पे ध्यान रखना होगा, है ना? Invoke for divine blessings according to your own religion. You need to realize that different paths lead to the development of the soul. So when master says here invoke for, in a general way or in a wider sense, what he means is your method of prayer. So you can, जो भी आपका religion है, जो भी आपकी spiritual school है, मान लीजिए आपके घर में कोई tradition है, you can follow that. It's okay. You don't have to do it necessarily in the way that Master Choa has taught. There is no single magic or sacred way. And personally, I believe that sincerity, when you do a prayer, when you try to be receptive, when you try to do an invocation, sincerity of attitude is most important. Rather than some magic words, rather than some ritualistic way, rather than using some symbols, etc. ये मेरा विचार है कि आपकी जो भावना है वो सबसे महत्वपूर्ण होती है. I don't know if you agree with me. If you don't, then please do after the session we can discuss it. Everything will have to be subjected to question. That is how progress is brought about, by questioning the validity. You see, when you don't question, you accept things as they are. जैसे अंधविश्वासी या blind faith या blind belief के तौर पे करते हैं. Progress is made, whether in the material world or in the inner world, in the spiritual world. Progress is made when we question. Because only by questioning, we get to know more. We get to find an alternative way of thinking about that particular thing, or a different way to understand the situation or the world. That is what science is. Science pragati क्यों कर रहा है? Because scientists will keep questioning. Why is technology growing so fast? Because people keep questioning. इससे बेटर कोई तरीके से नहीं कर सकते, इससे ज्यादा अच्छे तरीके से क्या नहीं किया जा सकता है. That is how science and technology are progressing. I mean, just imagine, Newton is sitting in the garden, एक सिर पे आके एप्पल पढ़ता है. If he didn't think about it, if he didn't question, how would this entire law of gravity and everything would have been happened? Even before that, think हजारों साल पहले, there was no wheel. Wheel समझते हैं, पहिया? I mean, at some point, humans must have discovered the wheel. Maybe 10,000 years ago, maybe 50,000 years ago, maybe some lakh of years ago. Now, if that boy or that person didn't have the curiosity, didn't have the attitude to question, भाई उससे पहले क्या करते होंगे? Until there was a wheel, people would be dragging or pushing things. When he says, can there not be a better way of doing this? How can I save some effort? समझ रहे हैं आप? Then the wheel is discovered, then we make progress. Entire humanity makes progress. Same with the spiritual world. Somebody comes and says something. Now, it is good to question it before you accept it. Now, in the next two sutras, Master again questioning का एक तरीके को अपन discuss करेंगे. Let's read the next two sutras. To question is one thing, to send negative energy is another. Your conclusions do not have to be the same as the teachers. सोचिए कितनी बड़ी freedom दे रहे हैं मास्टर आपको. You are free to make your own conclusion or you make your conclusion. You have the right to think, you have the right to question, but you do not have the right to be impolite. So questioning has to be done with the attitude and with the intention to know more, to clarify, not to challenge or to criticize. Unfortunately, इसके साथ दो तीन समस्याएं इन्वॉल्व हैं. नंबर वन, क्वेश्चनर जो सवाल पूछ रहा है वो सवाल तभी पूछता है जब उसको चैलेंज करना होता है. सेकेंडली, जिससे सवाल पूछा जाता है वो उसको ये लगता है कि जब कोई मेरे से क्वेश्चन कर रहा है कि वो मेरे को चैलेंज कर रहा है या क्रिटिसाइज कर. एंड द बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम दैट हैपेंस इज दैट वी देन स्टॉप क्वेश्चनिंग बिकॉज इट इज देन अज्यूम्ड कि हम अगर क्वेश्चन कर रहे हैं तो हम चैलेंज या क्रिटिसाइज कर रहे हैं. बट most of the times when we ask question, the purpose of questioning is just to understand more, to get more clarity. एक पहलू कोई समझ में नहीं आया तो हम उसको पूछ लें, rather than हम चुपचाप बैठे रहें and nothing happens, and then we have only got a partial understanding. So good to ask questions, good to do, even better to do own independent thinking. It is also fine to even disagree, but it has to be done with politeness. It has to be done with the right attitude and with the right approach. है ना? Which means politely. And make it clear कि मैं आपको challenge नहीं कर रहा हूँ, I just need to understand this. ये मुझे चीज समझ में नहीं है. Okay, time is up. Let's stop here today.